Hello, I'm Rosario Newman, Solution Consultant with SVA Software. And thank you for joining this live demo about orcharhino. What is orcharhino? With orcharhino, you can manage your entire server life cycle with a solution that is fully tested and integrated. Orcharhino is the product of ATIX, and ATIX is the Linux open source company and leading system house in the German-speaking region. And I'm excited to announce that SVA Software has partnered with ATIX, and we are now the official partner reseller for orcharhino in the United States. In this demo, we'll cover three main areas. First, I will show you how with orcharhino you can prevent errors in the deployment of new hosts by automatically setting up those routine tasks with a fully tested solution, and how you can have in just a few minutes a fully installed operating system and configured new machine, and how you can increase the stability and security of your servers by automating that in the installation of the different packages that include fixes to take care of security vulnerabilities in your environment. All right, let me start. I will give you first an overview of orcharhino. So with orcharhino, you can automate all of those lifecycle management areas, such as deployment of new machines, configuration management, and release and patch management, the whole lifecycle of your servers in the data center. This gives you a whole overview of what orcharhino supports and our value adds. First, we support the operating systems of varied Linux distributions, including Alma Linux, Rocky Linux, CentOS, and Debian, for example. And we also support to manage hypervisors such as VMware, vSphere, Proxmox, KVM, and Overt. You can also manage instances in the cloud, and we support Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, and Google Cloud. We support a varied set of configuration tools, Puppet, SaltStack, and Ansible. The value add of orcharhino is that it gives that support when you need to go through the process of simplifying the life cycle of all your servers in your data center, as well as training, consulting, and it gives you the ability to also reach our experts. All right, let's go into this area. This gives you an overview of the components of orcharhino. It's a high-level overview. And now let's go into the demo. This is orcharhino's interface. We're going to start with this area, and I'm going to show you how in just a few minutes you can have a fully installed operating system. This gives you a list of the machines that I've already deployed here. I'm going to show you how to create this new host. Orcharhino uses predefined templates based on applications or databases, for example, that are part of your environment. And these templates are assigned to those, or those are the specific templates that these applications or databases would use. So you can select that specific template. For example, in our environment, we've labeled it as the operating system name. So I'm going to select one of that. And it will automatically populate all of these parameters that are part of installing the operating system. So I've selected a CentOS operating system version. And it also includes a lot of the configuration parameters that are part of this template. And it will go through the process of verifying that I have entered all the important information here. And see, request here the media. And then it would go through the installation process, as you see here. So orcharhino is working in the background to go through the process of installing this operating system. And as it goes through that, it gives you the information, the technical information about the domain IP address assigned to this host. And Orcharhino gives you then a lot more details about the hosts. So going back to our main interface here, I can go into one of these servers that are already set up. And Orcharhino gives you this interface to give you an overall view of the status of the server that you created. So it indicates if the server is in an error state, compliant with certain security patches that are available. I will talk about those in a second. It will indicate if the subscription level, for example, if this is a Red Hat operating system, if there's a valid license to go with that, and if that's fully entitled or not for this server. The domain, again, IP address, MAC address. And let's see, and it will indicate if a reboot is required in order to update certain drivers or not. All right. As far as configuration goes, like I mentioned earlier, you have the option of choosing the configuration tool of your choice. So Puppet, Ansible, or SaltStack. Those are supported. And as you select those, and all of the configuration parameters that were part of that initial template that was preset will be applied to this new host. And now you can have a fully configured machine. All right. The next area that I would like to cover is how Orcharhino can help you with the release and patch management. So Orcharhino provides the content to the managed host that gives you that full control to decide over which packages need to be installed to a certain group of hosts. So let's go to a specific host again here. Let's use this host and go into the content. So if you go and drill down through the different areas, this gives you again an overview of this specific host, CentOS, and it gives you an overview of what security patches are available through Errata, and I'll mention that in a second. In this case, it's up to date, and it will give you an information here about which packages are installed. So if you're interested in finding out for this specific host, which packages are already installed, you have a list here, and which are upgradable packages. And there could be several as time goes by and you have not been able to make those updates or apply those updates. So it gives you a list of what needs to be updated. And let me go through, let me choose this Ubuntu host and talk about now security. So with Orcharhino, it gives you the ability to secure your environment even further by providing the Errata here through the interface of Orcharhino. So for this machine, Ubuntu 2.20, it shows that there's about 131 security vulnerability patches that are available for the specific host. Errata also includes patches and fixes for not just security, but bug fixes and also enhancements. So if you would like to see a list of all of those patches that are available for this specific host, you can have a list from here. And like I said, these are easily and automatically available through Orcharhino so that you can provide that additional security for your server environment. All right. And I want to mention also that Orcharhino provides Errata, automatically in the repository. So these can be uploaded to Red Hat operating systems and also for the non-Red Hat operating systems as well. And let me show you how to go through the application or the process of applying these to this host. For example, here I've selected to execute a job to install these erratas. So Orcharhino will connect to this host and start applying those fixes. And then it will update the list showing that these have already been applied. All right. Next, I would like to talk about lifecycle management. So with Orcharhino, it's now easy to go through the environment paths of the lifecycle of the servers, meaning it provides that ability to set up lifecycle environments so that you can, the purpose of this is so that you can ensure that the applications in your environment always are applied the versions or patches that have been fully tested in order to mitigate any risks associated with those updates. So let me go to this area, lifecycle environments. So in my environment, we've set up the different stages. Let's call that stages, the life cycle paths for the life cycle of the most important servers that I have in the environment. So I have set up a development, test, and production. And these, like I said, can be viewed as stages. And now, how are these applied and how do you work with these with your servers? Through content views. So think about content views as frozen in time patch levels or repositories that you can install to specific set of hosts. And these repositories include software versions that have been fully tested and updated. So let me show you now the area where we can see content views. So content views, again, are frozen patch levels, and they have been set up for the specific operating system. So for CentOS 7, I have this content view that contains 2 frozen patch level. So I have version 1 and version 2. So my environments that I showed you earlier, here they're distributed among these 2 versions. So for the test environment, I've applied the latest version. And for, let's see, for this other environment lifecycle path, I've included for CentOS the development and test that have been assigned version 1 of this content view. And you can promote these versions, the content view versions. You can promote these to the testing, for example, for CentOS. If I want to move this version 2, to belong to the CentOS 7 test. And then all of those the hosts that belong and have been labeled for this test group environment will be assigned all of those software versions or in that repository belonging to this version. So let me show you that. I'm going to apply that. Let's see. And we'll promote. Sorry about that. Okay. Going to promote that version. Now that version will be promoted to version 2. So now I have my CentOS test environment stage as part of the version 2. And this gives you the ability to provide more stability to your environment. So it gives you that control to choose which packages in which environment and hosts, as well as which repositories are applied and when these are applied. So now if you decide to go ahead and apply these once this has been set up, this life cycle path has been set up, we can go through the area hosts, content hosts, again, to give me a list of all of the servers, and I can choose several servers to apply those to. And I can execute this and apply these to several hosts, like I selected, and schedule or execute a remote job in order for this to happen. So let's go through here. And now it gives me the interface where I can actually schedule this job and set a date of when to start applying those updates to the environment. All right. Now I will also cover a little bit more about security, how orcharhino can help you with securing your server environment even more by providing the connectivity to or have available OpenSCAP through orcharhino. So OpenSCAP gives you that the list of security rules that are standard for a specific, for example, industry. So the operating system version or distribution needs to be compliant with certain security standards. And through OpenSCAP, you can then scan a specific host or set of hosts against those standards to find out if these are compliant or not in your environment. So that this provides even more security for your servers. So if we go to this area right here, have it open here actually. So this is where you would set up and import all of those files that are available through OpenSCAP, the open source, and load them into orcharhino and make them available. And then these can be set up to be scanned against the host that you need to. And let me go through this. I think I want to choose CentOS again and then go through the compliance area. So this is where you would find out if the OpenSCAP scan against this server, the results of that. So it gives you a report indicating the amount or percentage of security rules that have been checked against those standards, which ones have failed or not. So if we go to the report, and I believe I have one open already, this is the report for that specific host. And it gives you the overall view of the operating system when it was started and stopped, and the list and the amount of failed rules and passed rules. And it will list the details of each down here with a fail or pass label. In addition to that, you can have more information related to what, for example, what specific rules were applied. That need to be applied in order to become compliant. All right, and it will give you the actual script here, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go through this. Yes, remediation script. So it shows you the remediation script that you can actually use to then schedule a job, for example, then to manually execute those. And of course, you can execute those through a job within orcharhino. All right. Let's see. I will also like to show you that you have the ability to run report templates. So these are the report templates that I have available in my environment. Of course, there are more. You can run reports for obtaining information about the host. For example, what applied errata to a specific host have been executed. Then which hosts are registered. Subscription entitlement report, for example. So you have these predefined report templates that you can use to get more information from your environment. All right, I hope you found this information valuable. And I want to summarize that orcharhino provides that stability and additional security for you to make sure your environment is compliant. And we offer this support and also training to help you when you're working on simplifying the lifecycle management of your servers in your environment. And thank you for your time.